Greetings, weary travelers, fellow story gremlins, and now subjects to the newly appointed Sleepover Gremlin Queen. Yes, gather ye round, gaze upon my beauty. Welcome to, or welcome back to the Reaction Sleepover. This is the series where we get cozy and we react to stuff. We just got one big juicy story today by the lovely Jenn. And I told them, this story's long enough I could probably do an entire video with just this. So here we are. Be sure to grab your cozies and snackies, and let's dive in, peasants. Bridezilla in full force. The never-ending wedding invite nightmare. Oh, the title alone. Oh, and if you have any stories you'd like to share, wedding or otherwise, you can either email me or there's links in the description. Sacrifice to your gremlin sweepover queen. She demands tribute. So I, Jenny, work at a small wedding invitation design company with my friend Shayna. That's such a pretty name. Like spelled that way too, Shayna? Cute! We specialize in creating beautiful, personalized invites that include custom caricatures of the couples. Caricatures? That's so fun! Oh, I wish I booked you for my wedding invites. I still could. Surprise everyone, we're getting married again. Honestly though, some people probably would like that because we had a COVID wedding, so it was real small. The wedding was on brand. Do you do other commissions? Because I would love to see a caricature of PocoMuses. Let me know. Thanks. Love you. Bye. People love our work, and honestly, it's been a joy to see how happy our designs make couples until Sarah walked through our virtual doors. I'm here, peasants! Coming in like the guy from Spy Kids. From the beginning, Sarah had a vision. Fair enough. Every bride wants her special day to be perfect, right? But with Sarah, perfect is this ever-shifting target that none of us can hit, no matter how hard we try. Great. Let me tell you, this woman's audacity knows no bounds. Great. I love the way you tell stories. Round 1. We are suddenly in WWE. I'm sure it felt like it. WWE designed like wedding shop. It'd probably be a really good stress reliever. We start with the design after a long consult where she's very clear, or so we thought, about what she wants. She just straight up gaslights you. I want pink. Okay, I didn't say pink, I said blue. This wedding's a boy. We spend hours crafting it, taking every little detail she mentioned into account. But when we send her the draft, she replies with this pathetic email full of complaints. Suddenly, everything's wrong. The colors, the font, even the caricature style that she had been so excited about in the first place. And like the benefit of the doubt in me is like, people can change their mind, and that's not necessarily a problem. But that absolutely would be frustrating, and like you say in the next sentence, fine, we think. It's her wedding, we'll make the changes. Definitely depends on what the tone of the email was. Round 2. The sound design. I got John Cena blasting in my head. Shayna, my designer friend, and I put together a few hours redoing the design, tweaking every element Sarah's complained about and getting a new caricature illustration to match her updated vibe. When we send in the new draft, we're expecting maybe some minor edits. But no, I'm exhausted for you. Sarah's decided she wants an entirely different look now. The colors are suddenly too dull and the caricature is now too playful. Oh man. And again, it's like, weddings are really stressful, and I want to feel for her there, like if she's just really having a hard time. Like, having a hard time figuring out your design, that in itself is fine. But if you cross into the realm of mistreating and being rude to, which there's a whole bunch of more text. It seems like there may be some rudeness going on here. But yeah, like if you cross into that, it's like, okay, like please check in. Just because you're frustrated doesn't mean you get to mistreat other people. Okay? Okay. Or I'll lay the smack down. Lovingly. In the form of a gentle hug. To say, it's okay to struggle. But boundaries. At this point, Shayna is ready to pull her hair out, and I'm exhausted. But we keep going because we're professionals, and let's be honest, we still want to get paid. Oh. Would you get paid more for having to redesign stuff? How the story may be going, maybe not. As I'm realizing, I don't know why I'm doing this with my hand. I'm just trying to send good vibes and healing towards her so she stops taking her frustrations out on other people. I put a spell on you. To be kind. Speaking of which, not once has Sarah even hinted that she's willing to cover the extra time and work this is costing us. I hope this was a lesson in including that in the contract, if you have not already. Also, how recent was this? I'll probably ask. Unless you're watching now, which, hello! Tell me. Round 3, yet another design. Oh, that's gotta be so hard. After we painstakingly create her third design from scratch, we're feeling cautiously optimistic. Sarah's been approving each individual change over email. Good. So surely this time we're on the right track. But of course, oh no. I laugh to cover the pain. She swoops back in with a whole new list of demands. Again. Apparently now the colors clash with their decor, and the caricature looks too serious. Ugh. Goodbye, voice. I don't need you anyway. I can't take this anymore. And again, making changes. Why does my mouth feel so weird when I say that? Changes. Sorry. Sorry, my throat is not feeling silky. More like sandpaper. Ugh. What is my body doing? Just allergic to the nonsense, I guess. Anyway, what was I saying? It's not a bad thing to want to make changes. And we don't know how much she was trying to like keep her vendors in mind. But as it seems that she is not doing that with these poor vendors and just keeps making changes on the fly. And in this last sentence, she even has the nerve to suggest we just add in her new changes because, in her words, I'm sure it won't take you long. That's not only seeming like she's not trying to be mindful of them, but is also just disregarding the artistic process. Like, sure, some pieces take less time than others, but like a whole caricature? I mean, you know, you see caricature artists, they can go pretty quick, but like, as OP is showing, like, they put a lot of work into it. Like we said towards the beginning, like, it is her day. Like, we want to make her happy, but it's like with the caricature, for example, going from too playful to now too serious. Oh man, that's hard. Her tone throughout has been incredibly demeaning, treating us like we're her personal on-call designers with nothing better to do than to cater to her every whim. Yeah, that stinks that she's treating you like that. Intended or not. Intent does not discount impact. And I will say, like, other than the, like, I'm sure it won't take you long kind of seems to be like snide quip, it's like, she hasn't done anything like too bad yet. Like, she hasn't like cursed you out or anything. So it's like that little bit of me, I'm like, maybe she's just incredibly stressed as like, yeah, the weddings are. I want to give benefit of the doubt. I want to believe. The final straw, approaching the deadline. I just pictured, you know, along the WWE image, just a piece of straw. She's just smacking you with it. We're now ridiculously close to her wedding day, and she still hasn't settled on a design. She also needs the invites printed, but we can't print anything until she approves a final version. Time is running out, and yet every time we send her a draft, she's back with a fresh list of changes that are frankly nowhere near what she initially requested. And again, it's not like she's necessarily like done or said anything that's particularly like overly rude, but it's like respecting, oh, this is a good way to put it, respecting the vendor's time, because it's like, this is a service you are paying for, and yes, you are paying them to do a service, but if you can't make up your mind to do it, you're just wasting their time, and that's not respectful. Again, whether intended or not. Because like, yes, again, you're paying them to do a service, but that, as OP says, like, we're not your on-call designers. If you want an on-call designer like that, and maybe that would have been better for her. Shanna has started saying she's about a hair's breadth away from telling Sarah to find someone else. Just so close. And honestly, I wouldn't blame her. The kicker? Oh no. Despite all this extra work, she refuses to even discuss paying extra. Why? Again, respecting the vendor's time, resources, energy, and resources do fall under energy too. And that, like, with how cool this business sounds, I'm sure that she's not the only client. Like, they probably have other clients to work with. Like, simply going from more time equals more, like, you must pay more, that should be a given. So that's my benefit of the doubt slowly slipping from me. Because that is disrespectful, like 100%, regardless of the intent, which seems to be, may not be the best. She actually had the audacity to say, well, isn't this what I'm paying you for? As if we're obligated to keep turning out endless designs without any compensation for our time and effort. And, okay, maybe, I'm trying so hard, somehow does not understand if that sentence is not meant to be condescending, and if she somehow doesn't understand that, like, more time should equal more pay, that would be fascinating. I'd be confused at how she would not, like, genuinely not understand that. But that is me probably trying to stretch it because she may understand that. Like if she works herself, it's like, yeah, more time, more money. I think that's the unfortunate thing when it comes to like artistry, like in the wedding world and just in the art world in general. Like, let me pay you an experience. Like that kind of thing, or just it not being valued as much. And so people don't think that they need to pay more when it's like, no, like this is still time and energy I'm spending like any other job. So here we are with this never-ending project that's eaten up hours of our time, drained our creative energy, and left us questioning why we even got into this line of work in the first place. Oh, no. Please let all the other beautiful projects you've gotten to do with other people remind you of why. Please don't let her ruin it. By the way that OP's talking, I'm guessing this is like somewhat recent. When was this posted? Less than a month ago. So this must be very recent. No, you're doing great. It's okay. That's the thing. When people seem to be entitled to things like this, I do like to think that this is not like the norm. I think it seems like there's a lot because people are just telling more stories about experiences like this. But I'd like to think that most people are understanding of like, yeah, more work, more pay. Because for example, as much as we all come across people like that who are not being their best selves, we have the professionals trying so hard to remain professional, and kudos to you for doing your best, because this must be so frustrating. It's like no matter what we do, Sarah's never satisfied, but she sure doesn't mind asking for more. And it's not just the changes. Her attitude, her tone, everything about this partnership has been exhausting. Ugh, that stinks. Because I want to hope in the goodness in people, I hope she reflects upon this, assuming it's not still ongoing, and that she learns that it's not okay to be disrespectful to vendors' time and energy. Learns to be better. I have no idea how this will end, but right now I think we're just praying for the patients to get through this ordeal without letting loose a well-deserved FU and calling it quits. Oh man. Oh, I just glimpsed at the rest of it. It is, so they did have a resolution. Let's see what it was. I'm like praying for every chance that the bride can rise to the occasion. Please. Update. More clarity on our Bridezilla saga. Just wanted to clarify a few things to give you all a better picture of how we've handled this so far. Contract boundaries. We do have a contract that states clients gets up to 3 edits, with anything extra being changeable. This is clearly communicated to Sarah, but she seems to think chargeable only applies to when she decides it does. And that, unfortunately, is not how that works. Like, when you work with a vendor, you have to be aware and comply with what they have in their contract. 50% upfront policy. We collected a 50% upfront payment. Plus, she's billed for each additional design and caricature request, all of which we've shared with heavy watermarks. Removing those would be near impossible without paying up. Yeah, it's smart. That's why watermarks are a thing. Printing and shipping. We also handle printing and shipping. Honestly, considering the higher printing costs where she lives, she'd save money sticking with us instead of attempting to reproduce it on her own. Money isn't an issue? ? This is the real kicker. She's told us over calls that money isn't an issue, but the tune changes in text where she avoids every mention of extra charges. It's like dealing with 2 different people. Whoa, that's so weird. That is so fascinating that over the phone, she's like, money's not an issue, and like, yeah, fine. But then over text, it's a different story? That must be so weird. Update. Competitive market struggles and Sarah's latest demand. Hey everyone, just a little more context here. We're based in India, where the market is so competitive that we basically charge dirt prices. Imagine competing with a 1.4 billion people. This makes dealing with someone like Sarah all the more exhausting. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I get making changes. I really do. And like the stress of the wedding can really be impacting like what you want, like changing your mind from what you thought you want. But like as much as you are able, factor in respecting vendors' time because they are still people. And yeah, like I'm sure you have other people to work with, like I said. Although she lives in another country and still expects our prices to be as per Indian currency and market. Oh, interesting. Reading that makes me wonder how much like she's trying to push that. Like, let's assume she's in the US. We don't know, but we know that she lives in another country. So regardless of where she's at, that's a thing. Maybe she's trying to do a sneaky and try to like pay less. So here's the latest. Exhausted for you. Sarah came back saying she wants both designs. Both. She's already paid for one, but expects us to send both watermark free. Without paying for the extra one? Again, this is coming down to respect of respect to the vendor, respect of the craft, respect to, where's the respect? Where has it gone? God, what have you done? And now she's decided she doesn't want the prince anymore. Okay, which honestly, we're pretty relieved about. Like, I'm sure you got other people that are much nicer to work with. We've clearly told her to pay the remaining balance if she wants both designs. As is, like, why is that not acceptable? If she doesn't, we'll gladly end things here and let her find someone else for her next round of demands. And we don't know how much you, like, if this is word for word or if you said it to her in a different way, but it sounds like you did your best. Like, kudos to you for still remaining, like, professional. Because, oh, that'd be hard to do, I'm sure. Again, we're sharing the story just for laughs and as a way to commiserate with others who have dealt with their own version of bridezillas. We're fairly new to the business, so we're chalking this up as to a lesson, learn to tighten up our contracts moving forward. Yeah, and that's good. And that's what's unfortunate. Like, I do like to think there is good in everybody. And like, when people act like this, there's just something going on that is causing them to act this way. And that can be valid. And it's still unacceptable to treat other people this way, especially when you are paying them for a service. That's a funny thing about, like, you know, them sharing this, like, oh, like, we want to commiserate with other people, because this stuff happens, like, wedding or not. Sometimes people be stinky. And you just, like, I kind of love that human behavior too, where it's like, you have to share. It's like, how did this just happen? I find that very cool about humans. I do consider the written word to be, like, artistic. And so, like, you writing all this out, it's like you are sharing another piece of art with us, with stories. I've been talking a lot lately that, like, humans have always loved stories. Even when we were all cave people, we were drawing pictures on the walls. There was even, this is really fascinating, there was even, like, an analysis somewhat recently about, like, how they drew, I think it was like a buck, and just how delicate the details were. That was done with rocks. That, like, just really goes to show we've always had a special place in our heart for stories and the way it can connect people and the way it can teach lessons and all that. Anyway, let me stop getting so mushy and continue this. Expect one final update soon on how all this wraps up. Thanks so much for the support and advice along the way. Oh boy, I read the first sentence. All right, buckle up. Final update. Bridezilla bags the refund, but not without a parting gift. That gives me bag of poop set on fire by the door kind of vibes, and I don't like it. All right, buckle up, because the saga has reached a chef's kiss ending. I'm so excited and so scared. After all the back and forth, Sarah's decided she won't be paying a rupee more. Oh, that's the currency. Paying a rupee more. Why? Apparently, we weren't transparent enough. We weren't transparent enough? Even though we handed her detailed pricing for every single piece of her design demands. And, as we half expected, she now wants out, demanding every last bit of her money back, despite the contract, and threatening to take us to consumer court over a measly amount in rupees. Did I mention she earns in a currency that would make the sum look like pocket change? You even have the receipts. And yet the gaslighting continues. The attempted gaslighting, excuse me, because you are handling this well. Because you're like, no, we gave you plenty of details. We are sorry this didn't work out for you, but this is unacceptable behavior. So she sends this novel of a message with all this drama about how we've disappointed her and how we've ruined her special day. I get the stress. The stress is so valid. It does not excuse stinky behavior. It's like I said, at the end of the day, these are still other people who are doing a job that you should be paying for. If she genuinely thinks they haven't been transparent with her, I'd be curious to know how, because it sounds like they have not only given her all the details of every, like, change, every detail, but they've tried so hard to meet the demands. And that we shouldn't do this to other brides on their once-in-a-lifetime day, although given her demands, we can't help but wonder how long that's gonna last. For someone this close to her wedding day, she sure found plenty of time to draft an essay. Good point. Now, our contract is as clear as day as non-refundability, but there's only so much we can do to reason with bridezillas like her when she's on a warpath over the measly amount. Again, we're a new business and we don't need that grief. Like, sure, technically speaking, you can choose to act like this, but at that point, the business can choose to discontinue working with you. That's not necessarily what happened here. Like, she discontinued the work with them, but, like, you can't just... There's always consequences, whether good or bad. There are consequences to our actions and the way we talk to people. all of that. So after a group eye roll, we've decided to give Sarah and her fiance a farewell gift by returning the cursed money. That was very kind of you. Consider a very small fee to just never hear from her again, but we've made it very clear to her. If she uses any of our designs after all the mindless arguing she's been doing with our team, we won't hesitate to take her to court. Because yeah, at that point, that's theft of service. And for a groom, we're throwing in a discount for his next wedding because let's face it, anyone who's putting up with this needs all the sympathy and discounts he can get. Whew, that's spicy. I do hope if they do stay together, that if this kind of behavior carries over to their relationship, that they can work through it and be happy, or if them being happy means separating, because sometimes that has to happen and that's okay. Whatever's gonna help the healing process. Oh, and guess what? She hasn't even responded to our last message asking for her bank details to refund the money. Shockingly, it seems finding another designer hasn't been as easy as she'd hoped. Karma working its magic, perhaps? I mean, at that point she may just need to design it herself, which is like, who knows how like artistically inclined or how confident she feels in designing something herself, but it's like at some point, like if you are that picky, you can design it yourself. You can avoid all of this. Shanna and I have been laughing about this for days. This ordeal has practically become our office comedy special. We got so many inside jokes now, it's almost worth the hassle. Almost. And this last bit is what I've been saying. Weddings are stressful, sure, but it's a whole new level of a-hole to offload the stress on the people bending backward to accommodate every whim and wish you've got. So, what have we learned? What have we learned? Tighter contracts, full payment before any further edits, and, maybe most importantly, the ability to spot the red flags from a mile away. Thank you everyone for the laughs, the support, and the advice. It's been hilarious to share the Bridezilla horror story, and though she technically won this battle, we know who came out on top here. Home Skillet! A literal saga. Why do people gotta be turds? I wonder, given that you are in a different country, if she tried to pull a fast one on you. I don't know. I really do wish the best for her. I certainly wish the best for you. That, like you said, like, even though situations like this are really lame, they can teach to do things differently, to do things that protect you, like personally, as well as your business, but especially yourself. Because, like, you know, this kind of business requires you to be artistic, requires you to be able to show up in that regard. And it's a shame that she was taking advantage of that for whatever reason. Bro, I'm exhausted just reading that. But what an ordeal. Sending you all of the hugs. And again, huge thank you to letting me read this. What's the lethal combo? Give Amanda a long story, and she will never shut up. But I like that. I think it's fun. Plus, you're the one watching. So anyway, thank you so much for letting me read that, and thank you all of you for being here, as always. Hope you enjoyed this wild ride that indeed was a wild ride. I hope you're doing well, but if not, I hope this video has brightened your day at least a little bit. That will be it. If you have any stories, wedding or otherwise, you'd like to share, you think it'd be fun for me to read, you can either email me or there's links in the description. And please go give Jen some love. Like, that's just crazy circumstances. When you have something happen in your life and you're like, how did this just happen? Did this really happen? Sending love and healing to everybody in this story. Good glory. But good job for still remaining professional, because I'm sure that can be difficult to do. So that will be it. Thank you all for joining. Again, huge thank you to all of you. I'm so glad you're here and support the channel. I really can't tell you how much it means to me. Until next time, gremlins, that your queen requires tribute in the form of your time. All right, love you guys. Take care of yourselves and each other. Do your best to be a good human, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!
Turn off the heating?
Oh. I guess that's fair. I forget you can actually just turn it off.
Yeah, them honestly, it's better.
Yeah.